That said, moving on to combat a little bit, combat has more going on than you might initially think, but it's also not a particularly complicated endeavor, as you're basically going to pick a weapon you like, attack or charge attack with it, but you can equip 2 weapons generally at any one time that you can freely swap between all of them, and then use your magic on top of those. And then from there, it's really all about how you've built each weapon individually with your magicite in order to produce interesting effects. For instance, there are several ways you can utilize bombs in this particular game. So one of the upgrades allows you to reset the counter every time you pick one up, meaning that it's really easy to just pick them up and move them. You can also make them much larger and take longer to explode, or have them shoot fireworks which deal extra damage, or have just coming into contact with them damage enemies, or have them leave a giant lava pool when they explode. Something like the spear has the option of leaning into like the charge attacks, or creating fire fields, or allowing you to charge farther. Your sword allows you to potentially power up and use distance slashes every time you attack, or deal damage even when you perfectly guard against an enemy, as an example. So each individual weapon has a bunch of different stuff you can do with it in order to make it play differently. And that's before you start bringing magic into the equation. So Faye can ignite and light enemies on fire. Later on, she gets a vacuum spell that will, of course, vacuum up all of the enemies into a central location, which is a great thing to do if you want to reel them into a bomb, because Faye does not take damage. So combat is really just all about the different ways you can take all of those elements and find fun things to do with them, which more often than not, through experimentation, is some of the best of what this game's got going on. Outside of that, it's really down to enemy types and bosses. A little later in the game, you can find berserk enemies, which are stronger than normal but have extra drops. Your weapon upgrades and everything that deal extra damage are, of course, what you want to have when you are dealing with these guys, but the bosses are where it gets interesting. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of repetition in these bosses as well. There is a couple of early game bosses you're going to fight just over and over and over again, but a couple of them were pretty fun to actually fight and had interesting mechanics and stuff.